1 million invested in a money market fund account for 5 good years. Is it worth it or not? 1 million invested in a money market fund account for 5 good years. Is it worth it or not? Now, for us to determine whether this investment is worth it or not, we are going to use an investment appraisal technique that is known as net present value. Net present value is it's an investment appraisal technique or a method that is used to determine whether projects or investments are worth investing in them or not. All right. And before we do that, we are going to determine the cash flows that are going to be generated by this particular 1 million each year when you decide to withdraw your interest for 5 good years, and then we are going to discount those cash flows for 5 good years, and then we are going to less the initial investment of 1 million and determine whether the net present value is positive or negative. If it gives us a positive result, then it means the investment is worth it. But if it gives us a negative result, then it means that you are going to take the investment in a different approach so as to realize a good outcome. All right. Now, without wasting time, let's invest 1 million in an MMF for 5 years. Is it worth it or not? Is it worth it or not? Now, first of all, we are going to determine the cash flows that are going to be generated by 1 million each and every year. All right. And for us to determine the cash flows generated, then we are going to use the our discounting formula here. Future value is equals to amount or the present value 1 plus R over F raised to power NF. And we are talking about future value is equals to amount, which is equals to 1 million, 1 plus required rate of return. I'm going to take 0.12%. That is minimum, net of taxation and management fee from various money market funds. Then I'm going to take a frequency of compounding as 365 days, that is daily compounding, and then N times F, that is 365 times frequency of compounding times 1 year. This is cash flow generated in 1 year. All right. So this one is going to be, let me take my calculator here. So this one is going to be 0.12 divided by 365, that is plus 1. Then we raise to power 365. Then we multiply by 1 million. Okay. That is 1,127,474. Now, if you look at this, at the end of year 1, this 1 million is going to give us 1,127,474. If you look here carefully, cash flow generated is equals to this 127,474. This is cash flow generated by 1 million. Remember, 1,127,474 is not cash flow generated by 1 million. 1 million remains to be the principal. It is the initial investment, all right? But this 127,474 is the total cash flow generated, all right? Now, after that, we are going to discount this 127,474 for 5 good years, and then we are going to less the initial investment of 1 million. So I'm going, and since the cash flows are equal, that is 127,474 every year, because you are withdrawing the interest. You are withdrawing this 127,474 every year. That means at the beginning of the second year, you are going to start with 1 million. Then again, at the end of the year, you will end up with this. At the end of the second year, you withdraw your 127, and then at the beginning of the third year, you start with 1 million. So the cash flows are going to be equal. Now, with equal cash flows, I'm going to say this. Now, net present value is equals to PV of cash flows. You multiply, you less the initial investment. And initial investment here, we are talking about 1 million. So net present value is equals to, so PV of cash flows is equals to, this is, I'm going to take 127,474. You multiply by the discounting factor. And the discounting factor here is 1 plus, that is 1 minus 1 plus r raised to power n all over r. I want us to find out the discounting factor here. And here is going to be 1 minus 1 plus 0.12 divided raised to power negative n, or divided by required rate of return, that is 0.12. And this one is going to be 5 years raised to power negative 5. Okay, so this one is 1 plus 0. This is 1.12 raised to power negative 5, and of course raised to power negative 5, and then we less 1 minus that one, and then we divided with 0.12. It's going to give us 3.6048. This one is going to give us 3.6048, and then we multiply this one with 3.6048, and we get a present value of 3.6048. You multiply by 127,474. This one is 459,518. This is 459,518. This is a present value. Okay, now we are done with this. Okay, now net present value, NPV, is equals to this one, 459,518, you less 1 million. And it's going to give us a negative answer of minus 1 million. That is, it's going to give us negative 540,481. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are getting a negative figure, a negative NPV. And we said when the NPV is negative, then that investment is not worth investing in it. But when we get a positive NPV, then it's worth investing in that particular investment. Now, does it mean that you're not supposed to invest your 1 million in money market fund accounts simply because you are getting a negative NPV? My answer is no. The only way, because already you are getting some 127,000 at the end of the year. Remember, you are getting some 127,000 at the end of the year. So it doesn't mean that you're not going to invest in money market fund account simply because you have a negative NPV. But you can take a different approach towards this. And that is, instead of withdrawing 127,000, number one, you reinvest the interest. Number one is to reinvest the interest. Instead of withdrawing, you reinvest the 127,000 in the following year so that you can make the NPV positive, all right? But if you still opt to withdraw, you're still going to remain with a negative NPV, but of course you'll have some amount at the end of the year that is being compounded. Number two, you can decide to invest for a longer period. Now, if you do these two things, you reinvest the interest and you invest for a longer period, this NPV is going to change automatically to be a positive NPV. Ladies and gentlemen, this is just a calculation to measure the investment appraisal and find out whether it's worth investing in or not. But of course, as long as you're getting something at the end of the year, you still have to invest. But for you to make the NPV positive, you can consider these two options. My name is John, professional accountant. Thank you for watching this video and continue watching so many videos that are coming. In case you have a question, put it on the comment section and I'm going to get back to you. Thank you so much and thank you for watching.